What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. This is a little bit of a different video. Alright, this isn't the usual we at the gym, we working out, we've got music blaring. This is an educational video. Basically, this whole video, I just want to tell you from the start, this is my own opinion, okay? This is what I have learned, alright? So, regardless if you take my opinion serious or not, it is my opinion at the end of the day. So now that we've crossed that path, now I will show you progress. Now, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my training split. Now, I have, like many, as a gym lifter, I have tried so many splits because one thing I might say, ladies and gentlemen, is that you think that a split is going to change everything. And some do, and some don't. And for the most part, most of my splits actually didn't really help. And I feel like that's because I never really did my research and never really reached out to the right people for help to try and educate me on the difference between too much volume and intensity. Now, the past year, I would say roughly about 8 months now, I have moved my split. I mean, it's probably even earlier than that. It's probably like 6 months, I'd say, because I did start it this year. So basically, I have lowered my volume and I have upped my intensity. All right, now let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. All right, let's look at the picture in front of us with the smiley face. You just had to draw all of this. So my training split, it involves Monday, we hit chest and tries. Tuesday, we hit back and buys. Wednesday, we hit legs. Thursday, arms and shoulders. Friday is our rest day. I don't know why that's yellow. We'll go red. Rest day. Alright? Rest days are important. They are so important for us, especially if you are going down the natural path, i.e. myself. So basically you need to think about it, right? In order for your body to grow and rejuvenate and also help repair those muscles that you have worked out to failure, okay, it needs rest, okay? Sometimes sleep does have a big part in it, but sometimes taking days off from the gym helps even more. And I used to be one of those people that worked out 7 days a week, and I did not change. I did not change. I feel like my physique sort of was at a standstill. I wasn't noticing too much improvements. I was sort of just, I was just at like a flat line. I just didn't know what was happening. And although I might have been training hard, I was doing way too much volume. I was there at the gym for too long. The workout sort of schedule I had was not it. I would just do a chest day, a back day, an arm day, a shoulder day, and a leg day. Now that consists of 5 days, but I didn't have any rest days, okay? So that was definitely a big part on why I actually didn't see any sort of noticeable change in my growth, in my progress to my physique. And, you know, like I said, the more that you do your research and the more that you find out stuff and the more you try and change stuff, because when you've been gymming for a long time, you do want to change up your split, okay? Until it starts working. That's when you lock in and keep that split for as long as possible until you reach that next plateau. Now, what I would like to say is that this here, okay, our 4-day split, okay, and I say my 4-day split, this has been the best for muscle growth by far. All right, me personally, this has been the best overall. I have seen so much change in difference in toning, size, and strength since I have stuck to this, okay? And it also goes all the way back to my rest days as well. I used to hate taking rest days because gym was a sacred place for me. I loved it. I could escape, I could do my own thing, and I could just have a good workout. And don't get me wrong, I still do that to this day, but now I'm taking things a little bit more seriously and I'm trying to take a rest day. Okay. Now on my rest days, I tell you what, I go for a swim. I have a sauna. I go in the hot pool. I have a shower, and I'm good. Because although that might have not been a gym workout, at least I did something. You know what I mean? Because everyone knows that feeling when you have that rest day. You feel like a piece of shit. Okay? You feel like you're losing progress. You feel like you're behind. You feel like you should be working out, even though you really shouldn't. You should be taking that rest day, letting your muscles recover, and letting them grow. Okay? How are you going to let them grow? Well, by also recovering, but also eating the right food and supplementing the right supplements. So there we are. So this is the first part of the video. I just wanted to show you guys sort of what my training split is, okay? What my training split is, and it consists of chest and tries, back and bis, legs, arms, shoulders, rest day, okay? And repeat. Obviously repeat. You want to repeat this. So it's not technically a good layout for, let's say, a weekly gym session, but me personally, time is just a thing, okay? Days are just days, okay? If you try and evolve yourself around the 7 days, like the 7 days to fit into a week with your gym, sometimes it's not going to work out. And that's what I always try doing. I try doing like, all right, so I'm going to do Monday to Friday gym, and the weekend I have, all this time to do stuff, but in reality, just do your 4 days, your rest day, your 4 days, your rest day, your 4 days, your rest day. And then you just forget that there's 7 days in a week because you're so just locked into that split. You're just like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. There's 7 days in a week. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not sure if that really made sense to you guys, but it makes sense to me. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this and hopefully, this one. Okay. So, number dos. Okay. Volume versus intensity. Okay. I might need to move myself probably here. Okay. Yep, that's a bit more better. Okay, so volume versus intensity. Okay. My training split for the past year or so. Okay. The past year or so had been volume. All right. I was doing so much volume. I was at the gym for like 2 hours. It was insane. I would do 3 to 4 sets per muscle. Oh my God, bro. What was I doing? What was I doing? I was doing like 12 reps too. Like, oh. Now that I think about it now, like, I just know why I never grew. I know why I never did that. Like, it was terrible. All I was doing was just fatiguing my muscles. And that brings us to this first one right here for volume. Now, you might have a little bit of trouble reading this, alright, because I did do this with a mouse, but it is fatigue maxing. Fatigue maxing. Now, fatigue maxing for volume, okay? I was fatigue maxing, technically, because I was doing so much sets, and I was going to 12, sometimes 13. I was just going and going and going, okay? You should not be including volume and fatigue maxing, okay? When you are chasing a pump, you can already chase the pump within 6 to 8 reps. You don't need to just keep going. The fact that you can keep going up to 12 to 10 reps or even more means that you need to up the weight because your body is now getting used to that weight and is making it easier for your body to just chill on that weight. And then that means that there's no muscle growth, because if you think about it from a logical standpoint, right? If you lift the same weight every single day, you might see a little bit of results. Do not get me wrong. You will see the slightest hint of results. But you're not going to see big changes, obviously, are you? Because you're doing the same thing every day. It's just like anything in life. When you do the same thing every day, nothing almost changes. Okay? That's from a logical standpoint, all right? Now, if I was to implement upping the weight, then that just it blows your brain up, because you're just like, oh my God, your body finally wakes up and realizes your muscles and everything, they're just like, whoa, this is heavier. Whoa, hold on a second. We were so used to this regular weight. Like, we were very comfortable and we didn't need to grow and we could recover instantly because it was so easy for us. And now you just threw all this weight on and now we're struggling and now we're fatiguing more and now we hurt more. And we're like, whoa, don't you think that that's a good thing? Don't you think that when you're upping up the weight and making your body work harder, that is a good thing, right? Like, what happens with runners? Runners don't just run 100 meters every day, right? If they were to run 100 meters every day, it'd be easy, and then your body would be so used to running that 100 meters. But then what if the next day you just ran 500 meters? Then your body would be like, oh my God, and then instantly your body would just explode. Like, your body would be like, whoa, I'm not used to this. This is so hard. And then you only made it 250 meters. You didn't even make it to the 500 meters because your body is not used to it. Your body can't comprehend that. But how can you make it to that 500 meters? It's by setting that goal every single day. I'm going to make that 500 meters. I'm going to make that 500 meters every single day. Now you're changing that from running 100 meters to 500 meters. And yes, it might be a big jump for people, but so at the same time, eventually that 500 meters is going to be the 100 meters at the start. So then you're going to keep on doing the 500 meters. Oh yeah, the 500 meters is easy. And then you go up again to maybe 1,000 meters. And then it just continues on. It's the same as bodybuilding. It's so simple. Okay, if you start off with 20 kilos, all right, and your bicep curling, right, your dumbbell curling, right, yep, 20 kilos, yeah, that was easy. 1 month goes by, yeah, this is starting to get really easy. Yeah, 2 months goes by, yeah, this is sweet, I'm comfortable. Then you move up to 25 kilo dumbbells. Oh my God, this is starting to get heavy. Oh my God, yeah, because you're working your body harder, all right. What happens after you work that harder and then you go to sleep that night is your body is trying to recover, all right? And is trying to make itself stronger because it's like, oh yeah, that's right. The weight that we were doing was a lot more harder. So I'm going to recover and I'm also going to try and get the most amount of strength for that next lift. So then the next time we try the 25 kilos, it's going to be easier. And I'm also going to grow because it's like, okay, well, since this is harder, we're going to start growing our muscles to make this weight easier. Simple. It was a bit of a yeah. But that pretty much, that ticks off the no growth, the not recovering, and also the destroyed muscle, okay? All of this is literally this bit down here. Now let's make this blue because there's too much red here, okay? Wasting your time, all right? I wasted my time. My energy, all right, on volume, okay? This is your 8 to 12 reps, man, all right? You might have all the intensity. You might be 2 scoops off this pre-workout. You're itching and you're just pumping blood and you're like, whoa, this feels amazing, okay? That feeling's still there, okay? And like I said, this is my opinion. So if you think that volume, all right, if you think that volume works for you, stick with volume. But I have seen the most amount of progress with intensity, okay? Now, intensity might not really make sense with the volume and intensity, but I'm gonna explain it to you, all right? Now, we'll go green for this one. Okay, intensity. This is us here now, okay? Now, I want to move my camera a little bit here. Okay, so we have here, okay, the 6 to 8 rule. This is us here. Following? Now, what I've changed from doing my 12 to 14 to 10 reps at quite a low weight, all right? Because remember, if you can do 12 reps of the weight that you are doing, depending on what lift you're doing, you need to up your weight because 12 reps is too much for your body to handle because then it starts to fatigue. You don't want to fatigue, you want to fail, okay? When you're fatiguing your muscle, it takes X amount of time for it to recover, all right? So if I fatigue my muscle for one workout, the next day it's still going to be fatigued. The next day it's still going to be fatigued, because you're fatiguing it. You're not fouling your muscle. You're not destroying that muscle. All right. I hope that made sense. Because, like I said, I don't have a degree in all of this stuff. I don't do biology. All right. I dropped out of school when I was 16. All right. I ain't that smart. But when you gym for a long period of time, you pick up some shit here and there along the way. Okay. So, train to failure. Biggest one yet. Oh my god. Train to failure. Just train to failure. All right. So what if you only got 4 reps, 5 reps, 6 reps? At least you train hard to failure, okay? So if you're maxing out, let's just say again, if you're maxing out on the 20 kilo dumbbells and you're doing 12 reps for the 20 kilo dumbbells, and you need to go up, move up to the 25s. Oh, I could only do 4 to 5 reps each arm with the 25 kilos. That's fine, because you're basically half you're half the volume, you up the intensity, and then the muscle growth is it just happens. I have noticed such a difference, okay? I used to bicep curl 16 kilos for years, and then finally I just started to realize, and I lowered my volume, I upped my intensity, and I was only getting 5 to 6 reps, and I was so used to doing the 12 reps that I felt like a piece of shit. And I was like, whoa, how can I only get 6 reps? And then all of a sudden my strength went up, my muscle growth went up, I looked better, I felt better, like everything just went up, literally because of that one change. That one change, train to failure, all right? And then you see muscle growth, okay? Now, I just want to point this out, is that this video is not for everyone, right? I'm saying that this is from my experience, and I know that every single person's body is different. That's why sometimes I don't really believe in giving people programs, or like personal trainers giving people programs. I like it in the way of like, it's more like guidelines until that person can sort of figure out what's good for them. Because you could follow a Mr. Olympia's training routine and you'll get good, you'll get jacked. But if you don't follow your own personal path in which you know what grows the quickest for you personally, how are you going to improve? Because isn't that what we're meant to be doing when we're working out? We're trying to improve ourselves every single time. We're trying to find the new thing to be like, oh my god, that works so much more better than this. And it's like, oh yeah, I can't do squats, but when I do hack squats, I find so much more growth. Then do hack squats. You know what I mean? Like, whatever works for you, just do that. Now, rest between sets. This is only quick, okay? Because I've been yapping for a bit. Okay? You should be resting 3 to 4 to 2 minutes. Each time that you have a set, rest. Put a timer on your phone, scroll on the Instagram, scroll on the TikTok. Hell, watch a YouTube video or change your music. You have to wait in between sets to let your muscles recover. Otherwise, it brings back the fatigue maxing, because even though you might be doing 6 to 8 reps with all this weight, if you're not letting your muscles rest for the time, the 2 to 3 to 4 minute period between your sets, then it don't count. You're better off just swinging a 12 kilo dumbbell 14 times, because you're doing the same shit if you're not resting. Let me say something. I done the same thing. I never timed myself. I always said, people ask, they're like, oh, how much do you wait between sets? I'm just like, I don't really wait between sets. I just do my set and then put it down and then change the weight. And then I'll like take a couple of deep breaths, might change my song, and I'll get back into it. Oh my god, bruh. Why did I do that? I don't know. But let me tell you, ever since I stopped that and actually started timing myself, I noticed that I could lift more, I felt better, I felt less tired, and I had more muscle growth. Oh my god, people, it cannot get more easier. Better results. You will see better results. It's that simple, okay? Last slide. I need to move this shit again. Sorry, people. Alright. stick to the basics. Okay? Stick to the basics. I don't want you to read this, okay? We don't need to learn about this, okay? Because I've just talked about all of that, learning mind to muscle. This is your mind to muscle right here, okay? Stick to the basics, all right? Forget about the learning the mind to muscle. The mind to muscle, believe me, you learn that your own way, okay? I didn't learn the mind to muscle until I was 2 to 3 years in when I was gymming. Then all of a sudden, I remember on one lat down, on one back day, I felt it. And then ever since then, every mind to muscle has just been like, boom. Okay? So very quickly, if you want to learn mind to muscle, it's literally simple. Just focus on the muscle that you want to train, okay? That's it. And sometimes it actually does help to close your eyes and actually focus on that. But anyway, stick to the basics. People nowadays, like I said, with the programs, with the gymming, with finding out new stuff and all these new exercises and equipment, sometimes that stuff can be too overwhelming for people, and it makes them just really, really not want to come to the gym and work out because they feel like they need to do and show off and look to other people and show them like, hey, look, I can do this. This is a more an efficient way to do this. This does this, so then I can do this and get this a little optimal more of growth. How about you just sit your ass on the bench and do bench press, or sit your ass on a flat bench and just do flat bench dumbbell press, and you'll work your chest instead of doing like some eccentric isolate pull where you're like isolating that with a fucking strap around your arm, a mouth guard, a head guard, a neck guard, an elbow guard, a wrist guard, and you're doing some sort of weird position just to hit the same head of your chest. Oh my god, just stick to the basics, people, okay? It grinds my gears when people say, like, what do you do? I'm like, it is the simplest thing. It is so simple, alright? If you want to hit your arms, you do a bicep curl, you do a hammer curl, and maybe if you want to get adventurous, you do a spider curl, or maybe you do a reverse curl. That's it, because it trains all the muscles. You've trained all of those muscles. What about triceps? What if I do a single arm? What if I do the V-bar? What if I do the ropes? What if I do an overhead? You're all working the same muscle, okay? You're working it. Just pick one and do that one. It's simple. Want to work your triceps? Do a tricep push down. You don't need to do any other of that bullshit. Because you're going to work the same. You're working the same muscle. You're just doing a different exercise that's harder, and you're gonna have to research and scroll on your phone and watch a video and then study about it. Like, you can just do it while doing a tricep pushdown. Okay? It's simple. Leg days. Just squat. Squat, calf raise, hamstring, leg extension. You're done. You're done. It's simple. Just stick to the basics. Alright? Stick to the basics. Let's cross this off. The final. I know this has been a very long yet, ladies and gentlemen, but the final, okay, is thoughts on Natty versus Gear. Okay. Now, I want to move myself in the center. Natty versus Gear. Now, I myself have been a lifetime natural. I've not touched, or sniffed, even thought about taking steroids / gear or even peptides, because you know what? I like my life. I would like to live past the age of 40, okay? Without something going wrong with my heart, my kidneys, my liver, my stomach, my whole body, okay? I quite like that. I don't want to get any cancerous stuff in my body. That's why I'll always stay natural, okay? Now, gear use. I do not care if other people use it. I don't care. I really don't care. You can use it all you like, but you should know what you're getting yourself into. You should know that as soon as you take it, you almost have to keep taking it for the rest of your life. You have to know the repercussions and the negative side effects that comes from taking steroids. If you know that and you don't care, go for gold! Go for gold. Go. I don't care. Do your thing. Okay? But I'm going to do my stuff naturally because I know that there is a very, very, very healthy and much more better way. Go in the natural way. Plus, you feel better, you know? You'll feel a bit more proud of yourself knowing that you've worked so hard naturally to show what your genes can actually do. What potential you actually have. You know, how can you show your genes, your family, your friends what you are capable of natural through your own hard work? You know, I feel like you could get a little bit more of a dopamine hit off that. You know, showing them what you can do, proving them wrong. Okay? That's what I feel about that. So, regardless if you're on gear or natty, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I just want people to realize the effects of it, okay, and the side effects of it. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to talk about this. I feel like I've talked about it through some of my videos, but I haven't said like I haven't explained and said like a full breakdown before on what I think and like my split, what I do, and my training schedule and everything really. It was just a bit of everything. But now it's out there. Now it's all this information is out there for you guys and for you guys to listen to or not listen to or talk to me about. It's whatever. Okay? Like I said at the start of the video, this is my opinion from training for many, many years at the gym, tweaking myself, making improvements as a natural, and trying to give you guys all this information that I've learned and give it to you guys, so then you can try it out. Okay? So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.